So media, please, can you be on standby?
Stop your time. So the bottom of heaven, only one time. For some from the shake, oh, man, I'm saying. For some from the shake, oh, man, I'm saying. Only you dance. That's it. You don't have it all the time. That's it. Outside, getting all the time. That's it. You don't have it all the time. Imagine if someone that you want that. Imagine you don't have all the time. Imagine if happen. Yeah. Oh, my God, no way, no, you know, my, oh, if you want time, oh, my, say, oh, you know, my, oh, if you want, uh, worry about one, so happy, oh, what have we done? Some of the young put me in my head. People jumping, oh, what I doing? Stop the shot, what's I doing? Some of every woman on food. Time for the shake, oh, time for the shake, oh, slow. Only the time, that's it. Only the time, that's it. That's all it gets me. That's it. Only your daughter will that's you know, yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, yeah, no, good, yeah, no, yeah, no, good, yeah, no, sister, that's not good. Won't be falling, yeah, those, yeah, no, oops, thank you, they got that, won't be falling.
Thank you. This is the moment we all have been waiting for. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome. University of Lagos Distance Learning Institute, the fourth international colloquium. The theme, future, open, flexible, and distance learning, balancing innovation, inclusion, and sustainability. My name is Lamon, ladies and gentlemen, and I have my colleague here with me, and together we will begin the first half of the colloquium.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lamu. Exactly 331 days, 10 months, and 28 days. We had the third international colloquium here, the massive and ubiquitous inclusion of the educational landscape by artificial intelligence, whether open, flexible, and distance learning. It also coincided with the 50th anniversary of the Distance Learning Institute, and today we are all gathered for another round of interesting, engaging, and highly stimulating event we are having today. It's a wonderful day to be alive. Thursday, September 11, 2025, and we are right here at the Nuruddin Alao Hall. Can you please give yourself a round of applause? Before we get things started, it is imperative to put it out there that digital learning opens the door, but commitment walks you through it. So I hope today you allow the digital learning that has opened the door and that commitment of yours to walk through it. We will be okay for this event, and once again, you're welcome to this very auspicious occasion. This is the University of First Choice and the nation's pride. In case you are coming to University of Lagos for the very first time, I pride to say that this is the University of Lagos, the only university that you can access. We have a landing place for you. The only university that the roads are motorable. And the only university anywhere in the world you can access the Lagoon front. I repeat immediately. The German Chancellor Olaf Scholz came to University of Lagos via the Lagoon front. And because this is a future-ready distance learning institute, and a future-ready Vice Chancellor. Is making frantic effort in ensuring distance time, not distance like distance. You are going to be accessing University of Lagos by tube and by train. Great Africa! Greatest of the greatest of the greatest Africa.
Thank you so much. Well done. Shall we rise for the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? And immediately after, we take the Unilag anthem, please. Students, thank you. That's fine. Multimedia, please.
Remain standing for the best instrumental anthem anywhere in the world. The University of Lagos. Great Africa! Great Africa! Greatest Africa! You may please be seated.
Should we just get to the presentation? Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, with us here today, the first class Vice Chancellor, a woman whose administrative acumen is worthy of perpetual celebration. If your hands are not too busy at this juncture, then we join the us together for the one and only Professor Falakabi Ogunfale OAM SAS. We also have with us here today Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics and Research, a woman for you. Welcome. This is Paula Evelyn. Please. We also have with us here today the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Management Services of the University of Lagos, a man of honor, a man who does not have in dictionary. Professor Salary. Let's continue and do this. We have with us here today another vibrant registrar of this great university. Who love to be on the red side. Every day is Valentine's Day. It's either a touch of red with the shoes or the wristwatch. One of all the attires would definitely complement one another. Ladies and gentlemen, you can tell that we are so beautiful in the University of Lagos. The round of applause for Mrs. Victoria, our boss of the Weeklies. We also have the youngest of them all with us here today. She's just in early 30s. The bossa of the University of Lagos. Mrs. Oluwafunmilola Yetunde Adekole. The bossa is. Praise the Lord. I needed to say that before I introduce the next person. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the University Library. Another vibrant young man, ladies and gentlemen. This is not in the teaching, University Librarian. I will allow my colleague to continue with other introductions, please. Over to you, Cheryl. Thank you very much. At the last colloquium, we had the keynote speaker, Professor Ramesh Sharma, who was from Delhi in India. But today, our keynote speaker, with a warm applause, to Nico Rhodes, School of Engineering and Innovation, Open University, United Kingdom. Everything speaks for her. The last colloquium, our chairman of education was a professor, Biru Ishaku. But today, a great alumnus of the University of Lagos, a great philanthropist, in whom I am very well pleased. A round of applause for our very own Dr. Paula Adesina, MFA, FNSA, and the MD CEO of Sama Energy Group. A round of applause for him. We also have here with us this wonderful morning. The Vice Chancellor is the chief host, she's the host. And they say, when you are at the top, you are the topic. When you are the head, you are the headline. The topic and the headline at this institute is the first female professor of economics at the University of Lagos, since it was founded in 1962. A round of applause for Professor Riskat Olabisi Dafuda. And just to put it nicely, the Vice Chancellor has congratulated you, everyone has congratulated you, and I think on this auspicious occasion, it's very nice to put it out that Professor Riskat Olabisi Dafuda just got an award. Congratulations on your Fellow of Nigerian Economic Society at the 66th Annual Nigerian Economic Society. Congratulations once again. Also with us this wonderful morning is unabashedly absent is the 11th Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission. Unfortunately, the Professor DLI Yusuf Ribadu, representing him from Ado Nigeri, National Education. A round of applause, please, for him. We also have here with us Professor Chukwuonye, an emeritus professor, Ewunowi Ochonogo, from Swanen University of Technology in Pretoria, South Africa. In addition to that, he is also an alumnus of DLI. Very well present, yes. Unilag don't settle for less.
You know, when people talk about University of Lagos, people say this, that. I say, well, elephants don't pay to be big. Naturally, they are big. And that's who we are. Africa. You're welcome.
In addition to what my colleague just said before, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that we let people from this side, let us make most about Unilag. We say the way it is. My friend who is here has never traveled abroad. I had to encourage him weeks back, and we applied for the Canadian visa. At the embassy, before you say, oh, this is easy, at the embassy, we were not even asked questions. So where are you from? You said we're from the University of Lagos. So come back and pay this for your visa. If I had mentioned UAE, they would deny us visa. If I had mentioned OCTAG, they would deny us visa. But because we have people from Israel here, if I mention Israel, they deny us visa. They just are not right. They just are not right. If you know your students of your association of the university, I think you can do better. Princess of it's the chairman of the board of this facility, a professor of geology. So, a former vice chancellor of the Cape Israel of Federal University. He was very excellent yesterday in his delivery. We enjoyed everything he served us. Please, we can give it to appreciate Professor Eyuke, former vice chancellor of the Federal University. You know, he said. We also have a wonderful panelists here. Very quickly, a round of applause for Professor Daniel Adesina. Professor Abdullahi, thank you very much. A round of applause for him. Thank you. The husband is also here. A round of applause. Thank you for coming. That's Professor. Our deans are here. You are recognized. The of the PFO, we recognize all of you. Members in the specific of the red, we recognize you. Students of the best institute anywhere in the world. You didn't even need to it's thank you. And we need to recognize when she started broadcast, and when she approached me about 5 years ago that she would like to be at the radio station, I did not even read through the context of what she said to me. I approved it almost immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an experienced CI and broadcast journalist with over 20 years experience in television and radio with us here today. She's going to be the moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, when she sings, you will definitely listen. She speaks so English. So hands are so busy. I hope venture. Let's bring the guys together. For Lucy, Latina, please, for Gordon, please, Miss Lee. Today is a Saturday event. For you to have peace of body moderate, trust me, she will definitely do justice to that session. Rather than because of time, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for me to invite the direct Distance Learning Institute for our new seat, Professor Lisa Gaiba. Let's put our hands together. Sustain the clap if you get here, please. Sustain the clap, please, if you get here. The director, Distance Learning Institute, Professor Lisa Gaiba. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please permit me to stand on the already established protocol. It's with a profound honor to stand before you today to speak on a subject that is vital to the future of education in Nigeria and Africa at large. our theme, future-proofing open, flexible and distance learning, balancing innovation, inclusion, and sustainability could not be more timely. Education has always had the power to change things. I strongly believe in that. In Nigeria, technology has served as a bridge that connects everyday lives to remarkable possibilities. A ladder that has helped many people escape poverty, and a tool that has empowered communities. As we gather here today, however, we must ask ourselves, how can we guarantee that the promise of education reaches every Nigerian child, working professional, rural resident, and marginalized voice, irrespective of socioeconomic background, gender, ability, or distance? Rethinking open, flexible, and distance learning and making sure it is creative, inclusive, and sustainable is the solution. The story of Nigeria is replete with contradictions. On the one hand, our top universities are turning out some of the continent's top academics. However, millions of young Nigerians are not attending school. Nigeria has one of the highest rates of out-of-school children worldwide, according to UNICEF. The argument for open, flexible, and distance learning is driven by this conundrum. Future-focused, open, flexible, and distance learning should not be designed for the wealthy and well-connected who have laptops and fast internet alone. It needs to be made for people who live in rural communities without electricity, have just a radio, or have a simple cell phone. In the Nigerian open, flexible, and distance learning ecosystem, true inclusion is developing with equity in mind and considering whether the poorest child in Samfara will gain as much from this as a banker's daughter in Ikoyi. Technology is not the future of education, it is the present. Across Nigeria, we see pockets of innovation that prove what is possible. But we need to embrace a pedagogical revolution that goes beyond technology. Flexible and distance learning is more than just posting lectures from the classroom online. It has to shift toward personalized, adaptive, and interactive learning. For example, artificial intelligence can assist in customizing each student's learning path. An AI tutor may help a Nigerian student in the far north who is having trouble with advanced mathematics by breaking down topics into Hausa analogies that he can grasp. At the same time, the tutor could provide an advanced curriculum to a classmate in Lagos who is ready for more. However, it's important to remember that the effectiveness of technology depends on the pedagogy used. Nigerian realities, we all face that: limited bandwidth, multilingualism, and occasionally erratic electricity must serve as a guide for innovation. When we adapt technology to Nigeria rather than Nigeria to technology, the revolution will be successful. Policy that is forward-thinking must prioritize accountability, quality, and accessibility. We require structures that promote cooperation between government organizations, private sector innovators, and academic institutions. What if the Federal Ministry of Education, NCC, and NIPDA drafted a national open, flexible, and distance learning charter, guaranteeing that all Nigerians, whether in urban or rural areas, have access to safe and reasonably priced distance learning. Additionally, our policies need to be adaptable enough to foresee future developments. After all, who would have predicted that blockchain-based students' records and AI tutors will be significant problems in education today, 10 years ago? Now, let's firmly establish our vision for open, flexible, distance learning future in Nigerian narratives. The baby farmer who uses an SMS-based network to learn new planting techniques. The banker from Lagos who uses an online MBA to advance her career. Radio schooling gives the conflict-displaced young kid in Maiduguri hope once more. These tales serve as a reminder that open, flexible, and distance learning is all about people, their challenges, aspirations, and future. It's not just theoretical. We must strike a balance between sustainability, inclusion, and innovation to future-proof open, flexible, and distance learning. In a world that is changing quickly, innovation makes sure we stay relevant. No Nigerian is left behind thanks to inclusion. Sustainability guarantees that the things we create today will last tomorrow. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's commit ourselves to this vision, because in the final analysis, the future of Nigeria's education is not just about gadgets and policies. It's about lives transformed, potentials unlocked, and a nation empowered through learning. Thank you very much for your attention.
The definition of a leader. When your action inspires others to do more, learn more, and become more, truly you are a leader. And that's what Professor Riskat Oladoyin Dauda, first senior professor of economics at the University of Lagos is. A round of applause for our director. With the kind permission of Madam Vice Chancellor, we have here with us the former Deputy Vice Chancellor, Management Services, Professor Duro Oni Esonta. A round of applause, please. Former Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics and Research, Professor Oluwole Familoni. A round of applause, please, for him. Professor Oyesoji Aremu, the police is also here from University of Ibadan. A round of applause for him. They say when the team works, the dream works. DLI, University of Lagos is where it is today because we have wonderful board members supporting the chairman of the board. In no particular order, I wish to recognize the Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences, a professor, a comrade, Adelaja Eduka. A round of applause for him. Professor Adiola Adolani Suleiman, Dean of Human Sciences. A round of applause. Professor Samson Oluwapo Adeosun, Dean Faculty of Engineering. Professor Dojo, thank you very much, man. And of course, I mentioned the Dean of Deans, who is the Dean of President, Professor Abraham Adepoji Ashinobi. There's no person, sorry. When my colleague introduced her the other time, I just said, maybe that's just a precursor. At this juncture, it's high time we bring in a woman whose second is not in her dictionary. Everything is all about being first. When she was at the university, she was a first-class student. She rose and experienced what we call a geometric progression in her career. Rose to become the first female provost in the history of the College of Medicine. First
female Vice Chancellor Development Services. First female Vice Chancellor in the history of University of Lagos. The daughter of the first female first geographer in Africa, late Professor Keynote. When you are a first class student, superintending over a first class institution and a first lady, everything you do is about first. At this juncture, the first female professor, the second highest honor to be considered on any civilian in Nigeria, officer of the Order of Niger. And ladies and gentlemen, to wrap it up, when voted their event, one of the year 2025, he went to person and the future Vice Chancellor, Professor Colloquium, Unilag, Goodwill, First Lady of University of Lagos, First Class Vice Chancellor, future ready. A round of applause, let's jam our hands together. We can do better, Shakishika. Let the clap continue. The chairman of the occasion, Dr. Kola Additional, NFR, FMSC, BSc. Members of management, the university management here present, members of the DLI board, deans here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our most respected and esteemed students, members of the press. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to the first colloquium of the Distance Learning Institute of the University of Lagos. And it is really gratifying to have with us a speaker who was an alumnus of this institute at the very beginning. We have the past with the present, and I'd like to welcome all the speakers that are here using, I have to pronounce his name very well, Professor Chukwunoye Ochonogo. Did I get it right? I'd also like to welcome the other speaker, Dr. Nicole Lutz. Welcome. Also all the panel discussants, and it's really important, and I'm pleased that I'm here. Nigeria, with our huge population, has a great responsibility to ensure that everyone is educated and can add to the development of this country. But we have an even greater responsibility. With an average age of Nigerians being 19, it means we have a huge bulge that will be going forward that we have to cater for. And it is very clear that the university system as it is presently, the model that we have, will not take care of these populations. 70% of Nigerians are under 30 years, average age 19. All these students must be trained so that they can have dignity, and they must be a part of the future of this country. A number of things are happening in the world today. we're beginning to see the African Renaissance, and it is showing up in the pride we're beginning to feel in ourselves, in the sense that we are beginning to have a greater pride in the food and we're exporting it. Our fashion, we are spreading it around the world. Our songs and our music is going out. Soon you will see our sign going out. And what is happening? We are beginning to come out of the shackles of colonialism, and we're beginning to have a pride on who we are. And what education does is not only about the pride of who we are, but it helps us to ask questions of who do we want to be. The African Union has the 2063 agenda, the Africa we want. And that Africa that we want is one of peace, it's one of prosperity, and it's one of human dignity. If we're going to have that, then we must have an educated polity. And that education must speak to who we are and what we want to achieve. Many years ago in the 1980s, the University of Lagos had a vision that we had to reach people wherever they were. That vision has grown. Now the distance learning, and at the time it was a thing apart. The university has fully embraced the Distance Learning Institute. We have embraced the distance learning model. We recognize that that model will be the saving of Africa because we have a lot of people that we need to educate. But for that model to work, it must reach everyone. For that model to work, it needs technology. Presently, technology is still quite expensive and may not be available to everybody. But the whole purpose of research, development, and so on, and innovation is how we make it cheaper, how we make it more available, and make it more sustainable. As we speak, technology needs a lot of energy. So there's a lot of work to do in improving our sustainability, in ensuring there's cheaper energy as well. I don't even know where we're going with innovation. What the young people have shown us is that Nigeria has vibrant, very innovative, creative, hardworking people. So I'm sure that what we think will be the way it will be in the future is not what we're going to get. The changes that are occurring so rapidly. 10 years ago, we didn't know what they were talking about when we said AI. Now it is disrupting everybody. Soon we might be talking about, I don't know how many of you have reached space, what's the thing? And you say, beam me up. And we're talking, you'll be in one position and you can see your hologram somewhere else. We might be dealing with that. But as we speak, some of the challenges we have with DLI or distance learning, not the institute, is how do we make it more human? How do we improve the socialization of those who take that education? Every university has its flavor. How do we transmit this in the virtual space? At the present, we bring people in onto campus. But as we expand, that will no longer be sustainable. So we must find new ways, and possibly technology will be the way. So as we move into today's discussions, I ask all of you to listen intently because there is a conversation to be had. It is the beginning. It will not end here. And I know by the next colloquium, we'll advance that further. But I do believe that as we move forward, the distance learning of the future will not be quite like the distance learning of today because we match on. So on that note, I'd like to welcome all of you again to our distance learning colloquium, where we will discuss innovation, we will discuss how we shape the future, we will discuss how we will sustain it, and we will discuss how we'll make it a fun ride. Thank you very much.
I think the way that you see it, you did, I have achieved in a lifetime. As a vice chancellor, I think she deserves a better applause. Thank you. One of the recognitions very quickly, directors of Business Learning Institute in Nigeria, members of Open Distance and E-Learning Association of Nigeria, those that are present and online, DLI alumni, we recognize you. Former Chairman DLI, Shabayami Okolawe is somewhere. We recognize your presence here today. I've also been asked to introduce our panelists, our panel discussant here. We have them online, and we have about 3 of them here. This gentleman, the Deputy Vice Chancellor at Achievers University, Professor Soji Ayo. Online, we have Professor Quincy Ramsey, for this celebrated. We also have Director Advancement and Leadership, Professor Gamet Bishop Usman. He's the Executive Secretary, NUC, Professor Abdullahi Rabadu, represented by Dr. Ligari Paudio. Please celebrate them, please. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rachel Odunladi, the board member. You are recognized and celebrated. A round of applause, please, friends. Dr. Ibosadi Ebai, our deputy director, we recognize you. Dr. Oladipo, we recognize you. This secretary, Mrs. Model Lumona, the accountant of the institute, we recognize you. Everyone, you are duly recognized. Over to you, Lamu. Thank you. Let's put recognition of now so that we can move as fast as possible. The next guest I want to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, he is a distinguished entrepreneur with vast experience across academia, finance, energy, international trade, and diplomacy. He serves as Group Managing Director of Sahara Group, ladies and gentlemen. He's a seasoned energy diplomat whose expertise is sought by governments across sub-Saharan Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, this young man is a champion of the Pan-African dream. He envisions a unified, resource Africa driven by regional integration and trade. For those that do not know, this man continues to lead with vision, compassion, and a firm belief in Africa's potential to shape the future of global development. Gentlemen, just here today at the fourth international colloquium is the handsome busy at this juncture. Let's join together for the Dr. Ola Adesina, NSI, FNSC, GNV Sahara Group. Good practice, a single clap, can you get here, please? The chairman of the South International Colloquium. Thank you. Thank you. What's he here to say? Thank you very much. Technology affected Shun's contribution. He wanted to say something very funny again, but thank God for technology. The Vice Chancellor would have to pay him handsomely, regularly for the hype, which is going to be a course of study in DLI in the future. The Vice Chancellor of the best university in the world, Professor Salashadi Obisala, the director of Distance Learning Institute, Professor Rista Belga, distinguished keynote speakers and panelists, partners, educators, learners, industry colleagues, and friends. Good night. Good night. It is my honor to welcome you to the fourth International Colloquium of the Distant Learning Institute. For me, I would want to begin with a question. Who here amongst us believes he knows everything and doesn't have to learn anything? I'm surprised that the professors are even saying we don't even know enough. That's life. Because if you do, I have work for you. And the employment starts now. You need to find a way to solve our electricity problem in Nigeria. And you have to provide the solution now. Of course, I can tell you, if you are really very knowledgeable, I can ascertain that Tesla, Meta, they're currently looking for who to hire a force into that market. The truth is this, none of us has mastered everything. No one. Even artificial intelligence, powerful as it is still learning, adapting, evolving, and we don't even know what tomorrow holds. Everything in life is moving at a great speed of light. That's the simple truth today. We're all learners. The greatest danger is not ignorance, but the arrogance of thinking that there is nothing to learn again. As Peter Drucker once said, learning is a lifelong process of keeping abreast of change. It is hard. It is also about ensuring that as many people as possible are carried along in that process. I was quite delighted when I went to the director's office earlier and I saw this beautiful inscription on the wall that the quality of education has to be global before we can have a just society. We cannot in any way continue to promote ignorance and assume that prosperity will beckon. It's not going to happen. Prosperity and knowledge are intertwined, and invariably, therefore, we need to find ways and means of increasing knowledge, understanding, and ultimately wisdom of our people. I think that is something that is worth celebrating as a nation. There are three anchors for us for the future. The first one is innovation. Technology has already broken down the walls of the traditional classroom. AI, virtual reality, adaptive platforms, these are not just the future. They are here already with us. UNESCO tells us digital technology is not a social necessity. The challenge is how do we apply it responsibly? The second issue is inclusion. Innovation without inclusion is progress without justice. Too many learners, poor, or those who are disadvantaged are being left out by the form of learning we are adopting today. How do we bring them involved? Every innovation must answer one question. Does it bring more people in or does it push more people out? The third agenda for today is sustainability. Sustainability is not just about tests. It is about authentic learning. Today, AI can generate essays, but this learning is more than convenience. It is critical thinking, its originality, as well as genuine engagement that is needed. Notwithstanding what we are doing with Zoom and other forms of technology, we hold meetings and sessions and even classes, we need to socially interact. We need to breathe and watch cues, body language. We need to laugh together. We need to smile together. We truly need to love each other. Technology will not be able to enable that so much, so invariably we need to have a blend of the two. A moment of reflection. By a quick show of hands, how many here have taken fully online courses in the last 1 year? Okay, a significant number. Good. I want to say to you that it is not enough. Interestingly, during COVID, we had a phenomenon that we didn't know was possible. And what was that? We were holding meetings online. We just couldn't physically interact anymore. Technology, the idea of man, created new possibilities, made that happen. How many new possibilities are we exploring today? To what extent are we curious enough, looking at our environment and looking at how we can even use nature to engender innovation and creativity that will be beneficial to mankind? What is missing in our environment that we can bring on board that would enable people to eat, to have roofs over their head, to have clothes around them, and not just live in a subsistence manner, but to be able to be the best of them that is possible? What are we doing in that regard? The challenge before us is not just for us to deliver access, it is for us to deliver. It is not just convenience, but authenticity. Today, we speak of researches where people did not conduct any research. How do we enable people to find themselves, discover themselves, and be authentic enough to speak their own language in their own manner, such that the best of them can be given to the world? You ask something unique to yourself that the world is looking for. How do we bring that out of you? As we begin this fourth international Colloquium, it just falls fast to these three factors: innovation, inclusion, and sustainability. The future of learning is not written in codes or stored in devices. It is written in the hearts and minds of learners who are prepared to engage the world with creativity, resilience, and integrity. When we leave Nigeria and go to school abroad, I have seen consistently that Nigerians are the very best in class in the best universities in the world. How do we translate excellence in the classroom abroad to excellence in our society? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to formally open this colloquium. Thank you. That was the group managing director of Sahara Group of Sahara Group, Dr. Additional MFI. Please let's give me a request once again. I just shared this afternoon is that management is doing things right. The leadership is doing the right things. Once again, a round of applause for him, please. Professor Solomon Akimbo, we see you a round of applause. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. Professor a technology, we recognize you. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. Now we'll go straight to the video messages. And we're going to be taking three and just for a minute, we have from three different institutions. You've come here to felicitate with us. And the very first person to give us a video message, the student for open and distance learning at the University of Illinois, Dr. Joe Idris. And in the words of Frank Adon, who wants to be a miller those days, the time starts. Good morning, gentlemen and ladies. I'm representing University of Illinois here, the VC, the Director, Center for Distance Learning. In view of
the prevailing situation in the world and in Nigeria in particular, seeking for learning at all time. The essence of having distance learning is to make sure that all children, irrespective of their age, color, sex, and whatever, are able to get education as when due. The essence of coming together today is to find ways of assisting these children. In view of this, as a result of coming out together, the University of Unilag, the Center for Open and Distance Learning, is wishing us best of luck for this celebration. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much, sir, Dr. Jimo M. Idris. The next session that will be speaking to us for the next 1 minute, the director of the University LMBC of Onabanjo University, Agowe, Professor Ario Andrew Toby.
Good afternoon, our esteemed participants and speakers. I want to thank the organizer of this program, the University of Lagos Distance Learning Institute, for bringing all of us here today to share knowledge, views, experiences on distance learning education. I know at the end of this program, all of us will have the pause to thank the Almighty God and also appreciate the University of Lagos for this great opportunity. On behalf of the Lagos University, Agowe, I want to wish all of us here a successful, colloquium and deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Professor Ario Andrew Toby. The last session for a Goodwill message, we're traveling all the way to Akure, Federal University of Technology, Akure. The director of Open Distance Learning, Professor Felix Ilesami Alau.
Good morning. This afternoon, which is a great opportunity from my city Vice Chancellor, the first woman Vice Chancellor of Federal University of Technology, the best university of technology in Nigeria. Professor Kinidawe Adenike Eladichi, and the board of the Open and Distance Learning Center. I want to mention to say that it is a fact that Unilag DLI is a motivator to the Open and Distance Learning Centers in Nigeria. And incidentally too, when I was young, when we was getting outreach, I happened to be in those people practicing even the students in our center. So it's a great opportunity to be here again, and I want to appreciate the university for putting up this type of enlightening program. And I wish everyone successful thing and lecture. Thank you. Prof, sir, hello, sir. Prof, sir, you forgot something, sir. When you were talking, yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir. When you were talking, I think I understand what you said, but the solution reaching me, you mentioned something that got my attention. I think you mistakenly said it, but you are not sure. No, sir. I'm very, very sure.
Yeah, very, very sure.
Yes.
You mentioned let me put it on History of Technology at the Federal University of Technology. I got this University of Technology in Nigeria. Problem, so I'm not doing the choose out. Outcome is giving me guy, your answer is yeah. Hello, sir. If like your business is doing this, don't say it all. You need to see the way cross like shipping with the techniques. Well, so the people of this function, you will allow you to say what you said, but you don't know the basic truth. You are true. Thank you so much. Moving on because of time, let me see general now. It is possible to introduce a woman that I love to speak. I love her voice. She's been doing the same thing. It is a privilege to have the opportunity to host events together, and I'm still learning from this woman I'm about to introduce. I experienced PR and broadcast journalism for over 20 years in television and radio. She's an independent producer and an anchor of different programs on radio and television. Ladies and gentlemen, she is a professional MC, campaign, moderator, is overactive. She's highly sought after. If you're paying Lamont 500,000, you need to pay this woman about 10 million naira. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the director of Heritage Foundation and an organization that caters to the welfare of men's health. She is a deaconess at the Redeemed Evangelical Nation. Our greatest joy is impacting on young people, leaders, and vulnerable members of society. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a section, amazing, vibrant. Please keep clapping for the moderator of the Mrs. Regina, the pastor. It feels good to have you here. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Oh, dude. As no one does it like Lamu. My goodness. It took me on a while, you know. Let me catch my breath. I'm home. So let me do my thing. Let me be me. You would understand what I said. I'm home. All right. Excellent afternoon, morning, or evening to everyone that is here. But I must give that honor to that great personality that I am privileged to call the woman with the first. And when I'm done with that, I'll stand on existing protocol. Our dear Vice Chancellor, Professor Kolashade, we are proud. I am talking, when I say we, I mean the women folk. We're proud of you. Yes, I know. I know that. 27 years ago, I was privileged to traverse this great citadel of learning called the University of Lagos. So I am a proud white guys. Oh, you thought, okay, clear the throat very well and do it so well. Guys, that sounds more like it. If anybody has a problem, go to court. Standing, I'm so privileged. I'm thanking everyone that has deemed it fit to, under the ground, without knowing, suggest my name, and I'm not taking it lightly. I'm grateful and I'm glad that from the backside of the state, back in the days when I chose the University of Lagos, my parents thought that I went bonkers. They couldn't understand why I should choose. They felt I should go to University of Jos or go to ABU, ABU, yeah, I've never been to university. But I told my dad, I want to go to that Lagos. And I'm proud to have come through Lagos and still enjoying it. So today, being a moderator was on a different level today. I've done it over the years. But like Mr. Chairman said, he who stops learning must ask himself. And I need to actually add by saying, the moment you stop learning, just get ready to die. No apologies, because if you're not learning, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, what happens? You die. So I have come here, not because I know, but I am privileged just to be that person and bring the discussion, because this topic is actually also to me. Talking about a topic like future-proofing, open, flexible, and distant learning, balancing innovation, inclusion, and sustainability. This colloquium, I promise you, like the Vice Chancellor has said, is going to open your mind to where you have never been to. And I can tell you, for the time you've done, you will have made a decision to know that learning has some to say, not just from the formal setting, but any innovation will happen. And so, before we begin, I'd like to welcome our keynote speaker, who has been already introduced. And the media, are you ready? We'd like to have her citation being read before we welcome her up stage. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again, Dr. Nicole Lotz.
Dr. Nicole Lotz joined the Open University OU as a lecturer in design in 2008. She became a senior lecturer in 2018 and have held several leadership roles since, including chair of the Engineering and Innovation Athena Swan Silver Submission 2019, Equality, Diversity, Inclusion and Accessibility IDEA Lead 2020, and Deputy Director STEM IDEA 2024. Prior to the OU, she was a research associate at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University School of Design and worked as a design consultant in Germany and Hong Kong. Nicole holds a PhD in design patterns for cross-cultural collaboration, Hong Kong Polytechnic University, 2008, and a diploma DES MDEF in communication design, all Gulbenkian, Germany, 2002. Her research focuses on inclusion and the social aspects of design education. She is to support designers, especially in challenging contexts, by uncovering shared values that foster engagement and collaboration. Her research has been supported by various funders. Recent projects include The Fuzzy Edges of the Studio, 2024 to 25, Exploring Virtual Design Studio Engagement, and Enabling Students' Wellbeing in Distance Design Education, 2020 to 2023. British Council Medical Funded Project, 2018 to 2020, addressed student employability, inclusive innovation networks for women, Fab Lab development in marginalized communities, and digital inclusion in higher education. Other notable work includes the Open Studio Learner Interaction Study, 2015 to 2017, Cross-Level Community Building, 2017 to 2018, and international projects with Nigeria and Botswana to address online STEM education and design pedagogy. Earlier initiatives include Atelier D, a virtual design studio, 2008 to 2010, and the EU-funded Archive 21 project using immersive virtual environments. In teaching, she has contributed to all core design and innovation modules at OU. She played a key role in the production and presentation of foundational modules like U101, C190, C211, C317, and currently chair C390. She mentors virtual interns and leads the OU's annual design show, focusing on employability and student partnership in curriculum design. Beyond OU, Dr. Lawrence has taught at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University and the International Convivial Summer School. Her educational innovation work includes tools like Open Design Studio and compendiums. Nicole actively contributes to the OU Design at Open Blog and YouTube channel and engage with the international design education community through DRS pedagogy, SIG, and partnerships with institutions in Germany, Nigeria, Botswana, and Mexico. Her scholarly output includes the upcoming book Studio Properties, a field guide to design education, 2025, and numerous peer-reviewed publications on inclusive education, virtual design studios, cultural design behaviors, and curriculum innovation. Recent work addressed inclusive curriculum co-creation, sustainability in design education, and community-based innovation. More on Nicole's research can be found at the website below.
Ladies and gentlemen, the rise and welcome to the podium our keynote speaker, Nicole Notes, to the 4th International Colloquium. The next that I'll be introducing, please, can I have a clarity here? I guess you should. She should. You are coming here. She is coming here. Yeah, you're coming now. I was thinking so right away. Yes. So. You're going ahead with the delivery of the lecture.
Yes, yes.
This one, right? Yeah. Should I use this one or this one? You could use both. This one's probably better to use both. Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, very good. Thank you.
Hello. I'm absolutely excited to be here. Thank you so much for your invitation. I think it's better. Okay. I'm very, very excited for you to have me here. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. You've heard about my background, so I won't talk too much about it. My background is in design, but I moved into equality, diversity, inclusion, accessibility a long time ago. I'm very, very passionate for inclusive distance learning environments in particular, but I see it through a very creative lens. So I grew up in an arts and design school in Germany, basically, and I went to Hong Kong to do my PhD in online cross-cultural collaboration and design. And that really shaped my further research and my passion for distance learning and how we can be collaborative, creative, innovative, but also very inclusive. And I have been at the Open University, I think, for the last 17 years, believe it or not. That's been a long time. I would wanted to engage you in a Mentimeter, but I think it might not work. Let me go on. Yeah, it does not work. It doesn't matter. We want to be flexible, right? So will show hands to my questions, because Mentimeter is like a platform, I don't know if you know it, that can show the results of your views online on the screen, but at the moment it doesn't work. So it doesn't matter. Let's be flexible, all right? Okay, my question here was, where are you from your discipline background? Is anyone here from you in STEM? STEM, anyone? STEM is science, technology, mathematics, engineering. Yeah, quite a few. All right, that's good. Who of you is based in arts and humanities? Yeah, very good. Who of you is in business law? Anyone in business law? Yeah. What about social sciences? Oh, hello there. Very good. Very interesting. Okay, let's go away from this very blank screen. I love this framework. And for me, this framework is all about a holistic, a human approach to learning, but also from a design point of view. So our theme is sustainability and inclusion and how we can support that at a distance. And this is all about being responsible. We heard about human, being accountable. So it's really all about being a whole person, in my view. I don't know what you think about it. This framework really tells about what is important if you want to think about sustainable and inclusive distance learning, but from a design perspective. And I do think it is really important to think user-centric, thinking about what people want, not just you, thinking about what the planet wants as well and what it needs from you. Let me move on. My passion is in distance learning and design. And my biography has told you that I'm teaching on many, many modules. I've been chairing many modules in design distance learning. And design is a very difficult subject to teach at the distance. You know why? I don't know if is anyone familiar with design entails. You need to work with your hands, you build prototypes, you think about what you've done, you reflect on your design, and you most of all work with others together, open in a studio atmosphere. So a bit like here, but not row by row. It's more like a place where there is no front. It is everywhere. The studio is everywhere. You collaborate, you overhear what other students and tutors say, and you learn by immersing yourself in this learning environment. And this is so difficult to achieve at a distance because it's highly social, it's very intensive and has an atmosphere. It is very hands-on, and you sometimes overhear things. You don't talk, you just listen into conversations. And there's all of that. I'm sure you will know when you know distance education is really, really hard. It's working, doesn't matter. So I wanted to ask you, who of you is either learning or teaching in those modes? Again, show of hands, because this is not working. Who is fully online? Who's teaching or learning fully online? No one. Oh my words. Okay, that's really interesting. Who? Thank you very much. Hello there. Who of you is teaching or learning in a blended way? So blended is different from hybrid, right? Where you have at the same time the virtual and physical students and teachers. So the blended model is much more about, you might have some classes and interactions here in the physical world, and then other things you might access online. So who of you is more blended? Yeah, oh, yeah, blended. And hybrids? Hybrid? Not that, here we go. Yeah, okay, very interesting. And who's only campus-based? Campus? No, yeah, interesting. Thank you very much. Why I think this is important is all of these different modes will have a future, but you all need to support them differently when what we talked about pedagogies. You have to support them in different ways. My university is entirely online. It's fully online. which is very, very challenging. But as we've heard before from Vice Chancellor, it might be the future because we have so many students who want to learn. And in order to include them, we might need to go that way. So what are the challenges? Challenges at that it's a massive scale. So how do you engage socially at the massive scale? Is it, how do you talk to each other to learn? It's sharing processes. You know, how do you think? It's not just the outcome that matters. Learning is all about what do other people know? How do I compare to my ideas and my values and my knowledge? And where is the future? Where am I going? It's all about behaviors and values. In design, we have a thing called listening in. And I don't know if you've ever experienced it. Sometimes you learn a lot by just overhearing conversations. Has anyone ever experienced that? That you got some really great insights just because you were at the right point in the right time. And I think this is a power the online education can hold, because physically you cannot be everywhere at the same time. But if you manage to facilitate this listening in, this hearing what other people broadcast and maybe trying to engage with some of those thoughts, this is powerful, isn't it? So there are great benefits of being online if you manage to allow your students to listen in. Let me also talk about values. I do think we've heard a lot about a university, and I can see it here. You are so proud. It's amazing. And you show it. You show it in your hymn. You show it in how you interact with each other. But how do you show it online? How would you really create a passion, a belonging to where you study at a distance? This is one of the biggest challenges. I very much agree with the Vice Chancellor on that one. So it is really interesting. We have developed in design a kind of a social studio online. I don't have an image here, but you will find some publications if you follow the link that was shared earlier on how you can facilitate the sharing of what you're doing at the distance with each other in design, but doesn't mean you can do it in other places, not. We also have in STEM education, where you share experiments and are allowed to talk about it and listen into conversations online. This is really important. Sorry. Yeah. I'm welcoming you to follow this link. This will take you to a new book we've published. It's all about the things I've talked before, but I'm really, really proud to talk about social learning and engagement next. And the good thing about it, it's open access, so you can download it for free. You won't have the physical book, but hey ho, at least you have the knowledge that's in there. So Studio Properties, a field guide to design education, could actually be taken much further than design education, because there's a lot to learn on how we could make distance education much more human, engaged, and social. And I'll show you one example. Oh, yeah, sorry. One sec. So how do we support innovation? We all know that creativity and innovation is very, very important for the future. You can't be successful if you're not creative and innovative. I truly believe so. It is really important to facilitate social interaction, because you learn most and you're most creative, not alone, but with others. For example, when you meet people in hallways or you chat to other people, you come up with ideas that you wouldn't otherwise. And I think a studio atmosphere where you mingle with others and learn in groups is really conducive to this kind of learning. So overhearing, and I've said that before, discussions of what others are learning and doing really, really helps to learn yourself. And this helps also to develop capacities that are really important. Often they're called soft skills, but I do not think that they are soft at all. I think it's compassion, how to emphasize with others is really important in every aspect of your working life later on. And also to develop a confidence to speak. And I think we underestimate this ability to stand up and say your piece. It is really, really important for our students to learn this confidence to speak. And this really, really builds into this sense of belonging. Let me move on. I don't have too much time. So one of those, I'm sorry, this is having its own life. Sorry about that. I want to talk about student voice in the curriculum because that's what I'm really most passionate about. And I'm so interested to hear how you engage student voice when you develop curriculum or in your teaching. So one of the things I've done, I was working with students who have a mental health disability. I don't know how that is in distance education in the UK. We are very proud to say that we have a large number of students who consider themselves disabled. And one of the largest group is mental health disability. So think about anxiety, think about depression, think about post-traumatic stress. They're all things our learners have experienced in the past and still experience, but they want to study. So they come to us because we want to be inclusive of every voice. I've done a project with students. I wanted to know, how do you learn? How do you think? What do you think when you're doing an assessment? What are your struggles? How can we help you better? You can also read up more about that. I won't talk much about it, but it's an example of student voice when you do scholarship and research, engaging with other lecturers or other students. And it's really important at the Open University that we base our insights and our pedagogies and teaching strategies on scholarship and research. We've learned quite a bit from our students about that. So for example, one tension the students experienced was that many of their assignments are quite open-ended. So you have a brief, for example, say, design a t-shirt that expresses a part of your identity, just as an example. And then students often fear they misinterpret what the assignment is. And here, the issue at the distance is that you can't quickly check in with someone. Hey, what are you doing? How do you think about that? This is really difficult. It's such a simple thing in physical life, is it? You just ask someone. But at a distance, this is the hard challenge. Another one is, for example, a delayed but more valuable tutor feedback and the immediacy of others' feedback. So distant students often have family and friends around them that give them this kind of immediate feedback when they struggle or maybe misunderstand, or they think they misunderstand an assignment. But actually, tutor's feedback is very valuable because most of the time, this person marks your work. This is quite a tension and not easily resolved. Let me move on. One sec. This has its life of its own. I'm sorry. Let me just go through another very important work I've engaged in after I had a project around students who declared a mental health disability. For us, inclusive curriculum is very, very important. And we've heard about the shackles of colonization. They are in the UK as well. So many of our students tell us that they are not satisfied with what we are teaching and how we are teaching it. So the Open University is very proud to have an initiative and a policy to check all our curriculum and tutorials and assessments, how inclusive they are. I've been working with this working group for many, many years, and it's been developing quite a bit. At the end, we have these kind of very important key fundamentals of being accessible to diverse group, that all students see themselves reflected in the curriculum and in the pedagogies, and that our materials equip students to be an international, in a global, diverse world. And we heard that before. It's really important. We really, really think that these areas of kind of curriculum are very important for students to be inclusive and sustainable. So we have about 53 kind of questions for our reviewers. So think about, someone is going through a module material and really looks at it in detail and critically assesses, is this inclusive to everyone? How can we make it better? And what we are looking for is the pedagogies and the language we use. We also look at the feedback. How do we integrate feedback, but also how do tutors give feedback to our students? And how sustainable is our curriculum? We look at content and media. Are the case studies diverse? Where are they coming from? Do they show a picture of, a very single picture of the global West and disregarding other examples? And also assessment, a very important point. Of course, students are assessed. So it's really important to make this as accessible and inclusive as possible. And it's embedded in the entire production process. At the Open University, we have a very long production process spanning from the first stage of making proposals for new curriculum or changes. And then we go to all the paperwork and finalizing what the materials would look like. And then we produce it. And in production of online learning, many, many people are involved. I don't know how you do it. It's not just a lecturer who puts up a lecture online, not at all. We write books, we produce materials that are sent out to our students. We design interactive apps so that our students can be active in their learning. We design quizzes and assessments and other kinds. And videos as well. It's a huge range of materials and contents and pedagogies that we consider in our teaching material. So that takes a long time. I had another question for you. How do you ask for feedback from your students? Or if you're a student, how do you give feedback to your lecturers or your leads? Do you survey? Do you survey? Do you engage in surveys? Yeah. Do you openly discuss? Yes. Do you do research and scholarship? Very good. What about co-working? Yeah. Do you collaborate with students? And amazing. Very good. I like that. Okay. My journey on collaborating with students to produce teaching material started with the annual show I've been now leading for probably 5 years. So the annual show is an exhibition of student work online. And I do this with our students. So I invite students to come on and help me design a website, a catalog, a social media campaign, and a competition where students submit their work, which is then shown in the final opening night. And the very important point is that students are actively engaged in doing all of this. And it's a huge part of their employability. Don't know if you use this word, but employability is so important. Sometimes at the university, you learn very important knowledges and skill, but how do you apply them in your job later? Sometimes you might not know. But therefore, I think the university has a responsibility to offer opportunities for real employability engagement, to have employers with them, to give them challenges to work together. So this is just one example. Another one I'm really, really proud of, and I hope it's coming up soon. Let me see. Yes. I've talked about the curriculum before, is actually designing curriculum with my students. And here the students become staff. So they apply for internships, and we're going to have always two students in our production team who actually inform from their lived experience, their experiences of studying online, but also the challenges that they face. And this is going into the curriculum and how we teach. It's the materials, it's our assessment. So basically what we do is designed with our students. And I think this is really, really important. Is anyone doing something similar like this? Show of hands. Yeah? I like it. This is really, really important. And those two ladies I'm massively proud of. Ida and Cindy, they have contributed so much to a new qualification that we are offering at the Open University, which is in design. And they have actually not just critically examined our materials, gave us case studies or examples from what they would like to see, but they also produced a video in the studio nearly all by themselves, writing the storyboard, setting up the studio, having the script finished, and talking about what helps them to study at the distance. And I think that is much more impactful if someone else is talking to you, because this is a student like you know, like you and me, a student who experienced it. And I think it's really important to have the student voice directly in the curriculum. Another initiative I've been sponsoring for the last year in my deputy director role is the Black STEM Hub. We talked a lot about what it means to be inclusive, but where does it come from? We need to be more inclusive because there's a huge disadvantage, a systemic disadvantage of different students' population. And in the UK, one of them is Black students. Black students still have worse outcomes, which we are really want to change. And this is none of the students' fault. It is about representation. We have still very, very few Black lecturers and role models and scientists amongst us, and this needs to change. And our students tell us this needs to change. Our students like to feel they belong and not being marginalized and not feeling that's not me, really. I want to hide away, which you can do really well at a distance, can't you? So again, it's a project with students. I helped 2 students to become interns and work with other lecturers to build a program of meetings and speakers to open up different role models to our students, to engage in difficult discussions of experiences of Blackness, but also to find employability sources that they might have not considered earlier. These are all things that I've talked about before. They're really important for our students. I'm very, very proud of what they have achieved, I have to say. It's really amazing. Okay, you might wonder about the future. I have not talked about AI. I have not talked about XR, extended reality. Let me quickly touch on it. It's really interesting when you talked about the integration of AI as a tutor, as a personal tutor role. And this is exactly where the Open University in the UK is heading to. It's really interesting. But there's more. We are very, very concerned about the equity in AI. I mean, I do think the conversation has reached everywhere that not AI, is unbiased, right? So the large language modules that AI is based on, the responses from AI, you know, where they're rooted in, is not necessarily free of bias. And our responsibility, especially if we use AI in the educational domain, is to challenge this bias. So we are trying very hard at the Open University not to race ahead and just open it up, but to be very, very careful. So we have a roadmap of how we're going to implement AI, but one of those is definitely a personal tutor system, because I truly think a conversational system to just check your misunderstanding or potential misunderstanding would already help students so much if they don't have the opportunity to quickly ask your peer or another tutor. Another really interesting kind of initiative that the OU has got funding for is the Open XR Studios and extended reality. I don't know if you make use of this here. Do you? Who has tried extended augmented virtual reality in teaching and learning? No, it is quite a energy hungry, not very sustainable form of teaching yet. Let's see where it's going. But this is an amazing studio the OU was fortunate enough to get funded for. So we are trying really hard to open up immersive learning experiences for our students. And when we've talked about, you know, having your avatar being somewhere, I do think there is something in when you can touch something with a virtual glove you haven't touched. You can understand an idea or a complex design or a process so much better if you can take it apart, if you can view it from different ways, if you can engage with it. So I do strongly feel that XR is coming, not as fast as they think, but it is coming. I had another survey here about where do you think we are heading? Like, what is one word that you feel represents the future of open distance learning? Maybe have it in your head or come to me or shout out. I don't mind. Very good. Keep it in mind. Where do you think is the future heading? And that's me. I hope in time. I'm not too sure I've managed to be in time. But just as a summary, social learning is key. And at the distance, we really have to get it right. This is the most important thing, I think, for me. But also to integrate student voice in the curriculum, in assessments, in tuition. And it's sustainable for sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I thought we'd give it a round of applause more than what we're doing. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you very much, our keynote speaker, coming to give us very extensive, if you asked me, but just like I said, I gave a disclaimer that I'm coming as an MT person. I need to learn. And I can tell you that I learned. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment to unlearn, relearn, and learn again. If you thought you learned so much or you had heard so much, get ready. It is about that time to learn more. Back in the day when we were growing up, television was in our mother's room or our sitting rooms. Now we have television in our hands. We were grumbling, why is television in the form of a phone that is in your hand? Why is it so? Now we understand that television has now been converted to an academic tool. Do you agree with me? Because breaking it down, what has just happened is like saying you have become your television station. As a lecturer, if you have been averse to talking, using television or standing to address audiences, this is about the time you stopped it. So once again, let's put our hands for our keynote speaker. And then our Vice Chancellor is taking a bow. Thank you so much, Ma, for giving us that opportunity to have you in the last few minutes. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. I'm calling on the next speaker. The next speaker has been introduced, so I do not want to waste our time. I'd like to welcome once again to the stage, to the middle of the stage this time around, our keynote speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought I'll be hearing some claps before I welcome him, Professor Chukwunoye Ochonogo, as he comes to give his address. Please, media, as he comes to.
Professor Chukwunoye Ochonogo is a 1989 alumnus of the Correspondence and Open Studies Institute, COSIT, now Distant Learning Institute, DLI, University of Lagos. He obtained his master's and PhD degrees in chemistry education from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, in 1996 and 2001, respectively. He is currently a professor extraordinary emeritus in science chemistry education at Wayne University of Technology and an independent contract professor at the University of South Africa, UNISA, Pretoria. He retired in 2023 as Professor of Chemistry Education and Head of Senior Phase and FET at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology, Cape Town. In early 2023, he served as a visiting professor at Chandigarh University, India. Professor Ochonogo has over 29 years of teaching and lecturing experience in Nigeria, having served at Anyanai Primary School in Shiago College, the College of Education, now University of Delta, and Delta State University, Abuja. At UNISA, he was appointed to promote postgraduate research in chemistry and science education. In 2009, he completed the Advanced Outcome-Based Assessor qualification with distinction. He has authored 57 research papers, 5 technical reports, and 6 books, including Science Teaching Method, a multidisciplinary approach, and co-authored a textbook on science teaching. He has supervised over 8 masters and 13 PhD graduates with 6 more in progress. Professor Ochonogo is widely cited, Open Scholar, 131 citations, research dates, it's 9 citations with 15,025 reads, Academia Edu, 470 citations, SlideShare, 14,128 views, 1,575 downloads, research proposal writing. He has delivered keynote addresses including the 21st Century Teacher and Innovative Pedagogies for Global Relevance, UNN April 2025, Reactive Oxygen Species in Plants and Animals, NORCEL Conference, UK 2024. He has received 11 national and international research grants through UNISA, SUIT, and CPUT. He was nominated for an honorary doctorate in e-learning by Commonwealth University, Dubai, 2025. He is a member of SAARMSTE, American Chemical Society, Royal Society of Chemistry, and NORCEL, and previously served as conference chair for SAARMSTE. Professor Ochonogo is married to Dr. Mrs. V.N. Ochonogo and has 3 children, Doctors F.O. and R.O. Ochonogo and Chief V.U. Ochonogo. His hobbies include reading and ministering the word.
Let me start by appreciating everyone that is here already. And also to thank the VC and her entourage for taking time to be with us up to the moment they have to go down for some other business. I'm bringing greetings to everyone here, to my alma mater, University of Lagos. I'm bringing greetings from Swansea University of Technology, Pretoria in South Africa. Also, I bring greetings to my alma mater and all that are here, and particularly the DLI Institute. I'm bringing greetings from the University of South Africa, UNISA, that runs distance learning in everything, all courses, including engineering, nursing science, and all. And so we have places we are going. DLI, we will get there. Great appetite. Great appetite. Great. I can just remember 18 years ago, I was still in Nigeria, and felicitating with colleagues and friends that finished from this great institution. And then among the ladies, we will say great acropress. I'm not sure if that is still on. Can we say that again now? Great acropress. Great acropress. Great. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to briefly talk about this topic. In a way, I want to run a kind of understanding of what it is to say future proofing, open, flexible, and distance learning, balancing innovation, inclusion, and sustainability. This is a topic that's okay. No, I'm going to pass all these ones because of time. Right. I will want this. I want us to listen to this as my signature. It's not responding. Hello? It's not responding. No. I want that to play. Yeah, I want this to play. Huh? No, it's not just video. It is. So which one do you use, sir? I played it this morning. Okay, if it doesn't work, no problem. Colleagues and friends, that is the technology we are talking about. And hence, we just have to be flexible. That's the video I wanted to play to your hearing and citation, couldn't play here, does not mean we cannot continue. Right. However, what this is addressing is to answer a kind of question where you find the people mostly. Right from 1901, I traced from 1901 to the year 2024. And you will see that we have different areas you can find the people. Who are the people? To your left, you see friends. you see co-workers, you see bar and restaurant and family, where possibly you can find some people. And then you talk about school, college, including the universities, neighbors, church, and online. And to say, okay, so those are the major places you can find people in their family meetings. And then how much time do they spend in all? So when you read through, you are going to see my trace from 1901 down. Because of time, I'm not going to look at that. Yeah, but I'm interested on those highlighted generations. There you have what we call Gen Z, the generation born between 1997 and 2012. We're trying to watch their behavior. We're trying to look at what could be their most interest, their greatest interest about life. And you can see there that these people came in the digital age. And so there I said there that they are true digital natives. Those born from 1997. I can remember in 1996 that I was doing my PhD there at UNN. We were still busy typing with a typewriter. And then what again? This rolling machine to make cut your stencil, produce, and then bind and so on, and go and submit bundles of things. And your supervisors will say, no, you need to do this, and you correct again and again. But from 1997 down, technology started taking shape. And then those that were born from 2013 to the present moment, they are the people I refer to there as Generation Alpha. Generation Alpha are those that will make up the future we're already talking about. Generation Alpha. A question was raised yesterday about where we were going with AI from a student. What about job issues and so on? And such questions will continue to come. But this level of learners, those from 2013 to present, I tell you, they're going to ask more of such questions because the markets would have been filled. Okay. And so having seen that, I want to quickly say that the new system we are looking into is not truly new anymore because it is here already with us. It is here already with us. However, to have people that have grown on the ladder, at least to the little level I am, having passed through the ODL program here in this university when it was called COSIT. It used to be called COSIT, Correspondence and Open Studies Institute, yes. Therefore, we see that it is no longer new. However, what is new about it is the flexibility. What is new about it is the openness. No longer to say, these are the only courses we can offer. The door, like as I was saying to the VC in her office,
the door is already open. We are going to have many more students who will pass through this door and become great persons in their various endeavors of life, irrespective of your subject area. And because it is open, our universities ought to ensure that they no longer just say we are specializing only at the first degree level or diploma level or for this particular course. Let it be open in all fields. But of course, that we take special training also for the practitioners. Now, why do we really want this? You find that the open, flexible, and distance learning system supposed to be on the increase. Reason because the world is growing in population. Growing in population, and the materials we have to keep people together in one space and teach them and teach and do experiments and all that is not growing at the same pace as the population. Last, for about a month, up to last week, I had some duty going around visiting schools for a particular university in South Africa. And the instruction of that university was that as I go, they want to have reports on the facilities that can enable them bring in some programs into such schools.
That's it for a minute. Okay. I think we're back. We're so sorry. This has never happened before in Unilag. This is the first time they're going to take lights at a function. Well, sorry, sir. It has never happened before. Sorry, sir. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Okay, keep it there. Thank you. Sorry. All right, so I'm not sure that is even new to us. Okay, so what I'm saying is that there is great urgency for every institution to key into OFDL system because the facilities are not there for all the large population here and there to come into one space. Like as I was saying, that I got to a school, I needed to see how their chemistry class are being taught, the lab, the physics, and life science. In that way, we call biology life science. So I needed to go through both the laboratories, see their principals, talk with them, talk with what do you call them, the government, the governor body of the various schools. And I have to visit 27 schools, 27 high schools. But getting to some, you will see they may have a laboratory space, but the materials there are old. The chemicals there are all worn out. and so on. But when we have this program, you will find that you need just a little material to teach a whole large of population. And many more people will gain access to education. I'll give some examples of what I have done so far. So, and we are talking about not just looking at the system as that, but that the system in the nearest future should be giving us great response to technological shifts, climate change, which we are talking about. Everyone, like as I'm here, I'm really sweating. Yesterday, I felt like not even putting on tie. I said, but this is my country. I know we love wearing ties. We love wearing a suit, even when it is too hot. If I had dressed the way I wanted, I'm sure you people will have said, who is this guy? You know? But you'll find that we are experiencing serious climate change, begging for answers. And the few institutes that can have what we call contact universities will not be able to produce the number of people that can begin to come up with responses to these problems. Not only that, what about social inequalities? You find that many institutions have students even from far rural areas. And those people may not be able to come to such institutions like a great one as this. But we can reach them at their own level in their cohorts and villages and hamlets, you know, through the OFDL program. If well managed, I will talk about that. Therefore, what is this talking about? It is to ensure that everyone is reached educationally. Everyone is given education, and not just given education, but education that has skill, education that will look into the future and say, I should be able to occupy this space, doing this or doing that. That is what this system is. Now, here we are. In 2009, a village boy like me, who had just left the shores of this country, I walked into a space in Pretoria, and then I saw some tube-like materials, black, and then the kind of beam that they were, showing there. I was so surprised. I said, I asked somebody, what is going on here? They said, it's all about AI. It's all about visual reality. And then they gave me that input. I put it on. Oh, I can see the beauty of nature. Practical. The telescope that we come to the physics class and just talk about. And then tell the learners, it has the two lenses, one is here, one is the other one. This one will bring the object closer, and then this, we project it and so on. But they have not really seen it. Through this, very simple, you can see far even into the sky. Some 2 months ago, we had a program here at what do you call it? Abuja. My research team from UK, and it was about astroscience. It was the turn of Nigeria to host those that will be there, while some of us who will not be able to be there connected from all over the world. And I tell you, that the discussion was such that as if we were even in the moon, because everything was brought close to everyone. Okay. So we find that the AI, which I will tell us some forms of it, because there are different forms. All right. And then, because of time, so I will just run through. You look at that first bullet, is the summary of all that everyone has said here, even yesterday, that there are three key things there. You talk of your AI. In their different forms, as I'm going to briefly talk to us, then visual reality, and then adaptive learning. Both the teacher, the lecturer, and the learners or students are supposed to have that adaptive character. Otherwise, it will be difficult for them to achieve the goal of this. In order to reduce the issue of overcrowding in our classes, we think of so many ways using this AI, the open, flexible distance learning program by introducing flipped classrooms as one pedagogical innovation, thinking of gamification. And unfortunately, you find that some people who hate school, perhaps, they go into gamification for money and, just to play gambling or so. But gamification is supposed to be an instrument for proper teaching. Teaching in chemistry, teaching in mathematics, in every subject, your engineering, if it is well introduced. And then you have the micro learning. So all what we are talking about is that we need to foster digital literacy among all educators. So are you a lecturer or a student, an engineer, a researcher, and you are still far from what this is saying? There is a call for you to come in and be trained. And do not say that, oh, but I know it so much. You will find that the AI we are talking about today is not the AI of 2022. 2022, that the issue of AI became so open out of one program that we attended, this Erasmus Erasmus Plus program, also housed in UK, that dishes out funding for critical research. It was there that somebody talked about ChatGPT. Personally, I didn't understand. So I have to ask, I have to learn. And when I came back from that program, I quickly started practicing to learn and be skilled up. That's what we're supposed to do. So we need to foster digital literacy among educators and students for a reason of maximizing technological benefits, which is at the center of the future. I'm not going to talk about all this because of time, but here I have some pedagogical approaches which must be very relevant to our AI knowledge acquisition and practice, not just to know them, but to apply them. So here I have project-based learning, which in the olden days, you may say, oh, but that is it. It has a different approach that is technologically driven. And then we talk about collaborative and cooperative learning, which in the past, like the work done by what is the name? I will remember the name. long ago in 1982, he made mention of cooperative learning. And if you pick that work of that time and look at it now, you will see that it's no longer speaking to the reality of today. Cooperative learning is all the time evolving. Every other thing continues to evolve. And so we have inquiry-based learning. Then, most importantly, these last two, culturally responsive teaching. For whatever subjects or discipline, we need this. We need culturally responsive teaching that will make the learners, the students, to understand things all around them, because technology is here with you. It's not far away. We can't be giving examples of what happens in US, everywhere, and so on. But here, and so the teaching, the language also has to be responsive to what the learners can learn. Happy enough, in yesterday's workshop, we heard, and we can know if we didn't know before yesterday, that the AI is able to give us whatever language you want. So you can write your lessons and ask the AI to, translate whatever it is to a particular language that will come closer to your students, and then they will understand better. Okay, and then you have the STEM. Those of us in science, technology, engineering, now arts and mathematics, no longer just STEM. It is expected that this becomes a very important tool as a pedagogical approach when we talk about AI. So I've mentioned all this. I should now read them. You can get more information because of time. Just want to get to where are we? Right. In this discussion, many of our presenters have already said something about inclusion and equity. Inclusion and equity. Indeed, there is no new program or new system that will not meet with challenges. But the importance of this program we are here today is to locate how can we deal with such challenges so that our students and what we want to do will actually lead us to a better future. We have one major challenge, and that is internet connectivity. In 2020, I will soon finish. In 2020, COVID-19 came up as a general problem before the world. And then that day that my then university, we closed up, I came out just to address the students that this is the new information we got. And so be in your, be sure you don't mix up, spread yourselves. Let us wait for more further information. And before we knew it, they came up with a circular that we must close the entire school. Why? Because of COVID-19. And then the students were to start writing exams 2 weeks' time. We have not got the materials that can meet up with that. Immediately, we now saw the need to talk of what I refer to as VPN. VPN. Visual Private Network. This is a special solution to that question that says, what of those that are far away in the bush? How do we get them connected? It is by the use of VPN, Visual Private Network. And so if you are a university, an institution like DLI, you procure that PVN, VPN, and then directly connect to the university's network. And the students, all you need from a student is the matriculation number. Once that number is placed there together with the entire system, even if that student is far inside anywhere, that student is going to get connected. And you'll be saying no network, no whatever. That is one physical solution that's good enough. My first presenter talked about design. We need to understand that this program and project is only to key into what is called a universal design for learning. We are teaching our students, we are lecturing as colleagues, and so on. We are researching to be globally relevant. And therefore, if we are only relevant within our enclave, it means we have not started. Hence, this is very important. And also, every child has a need. But I've already talked about the use of a VPN so that you can meet whatever needs they have. And finally, there you have this OFDL is firmly keyed to SDG 4. And SDG 4 controls all the 17 LDGs. That tells us the importance of this. Because without education, we cannot, well, I mean, we will fail. Then inclusion, sorry. Yeah. So I want to talk about embedded education for sustainable development. Just briefly. If we want to move our country, we want to move Africa, we want to move the world forward, we need to key into this. That whatever discipline you find yourself, do the much you can to design things that can show equitable development and sustainable development in your curriculum. It shouldn't just be that I can teach this, I can teach that. No. Recently, there was a case that I wanted to teach a particular topic in physical chemistry. And then I put up a question just to diagnose the students' level about that topic. And it was as if I was talking to an empty class. So what's the problem? The simple mathematics that will lead to that, which is Semitonos equation. Then I was talking about thermodynamics, and I wanted to bring up some things that will help the understanding better. They said, no, we don't know that. And then I have to say, no, let's go this way. You come back and have what I normally call compensatory curriculum. Just to prepare them quickly, and then as they understand that, you bring them back to the main lesson. All these are what should help us. And then you will read all that because of time, but we need to encourage lifelong learning to build a resilient, adaptable community. Thank you, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Once again, can we please put our hands together for Professor Chukwu? Professor, you were supposed to speak for 2 hours, 15 minutes, but you only spoke for about 25 minutes. Can we give him another squeeze? Thank you, thank you. All right, because of time, quickly. Sure, am I correct? We need to bring in the best troupe in Africa. Are they ready? The best troupe in Africa, Department of Creative Arts, University of Lagos. Are they ready? Can we please celebrate our students? They are now global. They have performed in over 20 states in Nigeria. And after this performance, they have a plane to catch all the way to Port Harcourt for another performance before they come back to a court on Sunday. I will please celebrate the Department of Creative Arts for please.
Lamu, one thing we also need to put out is that University of Lagos recently just established some new faculties. And so we are no longer creative arts department anymore. We are faculty of creative arts. We also have the like of faculty of architecture, clinical sciences, communication and media studies, where you are computing and informatics, life sciences. We have Professor Olayinka Taiwo Ashekun here, physical and health sciences. So before we used to have 12, now we have increased to 19. We might get to 36 much more.
Okay.
You can see that in the attire from the south of
It's
And
You're led by Dr. Kodana. Thank you so much. We have so many sites here, and I remember my colleague said, "I'm not talking." It's also important to recognize some of that. We have schools here. Ibo Kutino, Kutino, Kwesino. Wait. Your nose, that is epileptic. When we are talking about the best parts in Nigeria, there's a people I will call now. You will see the way they will talk the whole when I call them. When I'm talking about people. Hello. I can assure you that the person disturbing the electricians that they will be sacked before Monday. But the school is a lie.
Hold on, Lamu, hold on. Just 2 days ago,
Yes.
Super Eagles collapsed. The following day, grid collapsed.
This state I'm about to call now will never collapse. We're talking about people from Abeokuta, Ogbomosho, Ondo, Ekiti, Akure, Eritrea. If you know you're proud to be from the Southwest, let's
oh my goodness. Thank you very much. And I'm back once again, but talking about inclusivity. We're here talking about inclusivity. I heard the South, I heard the Igbo, and I heard the Southwest. So where are the houses? Ya jama'a ya ina kuke ne ku dan daga hannu mana da Allah. That does it. That's the balance we're talking about. That's the balance we're talking about. Thank you very much. Okay, we're not wasting time. We promise you in the next, let me say, 20 minutes we'll be out of here, but rest assured, we are going to go home with something. It's being learning, unlearning, and relearning. And so I will be introducing to the podium as they take their seats our panelists, one after the other, but we need to announce to us that one of them is actually online. Talking about online, we'd like to say, well done. Can we just wave our hands to those that are online? Just let them know that we are aware that they're there and we appreciate them. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for staying through with us. Okay, I will be introducing the first person that will be coming up here is panelist that I'm sure has done this job many times over. So I'll have to just say a little bit about him while we welcome him. He is none other than Professor Oyesoji Aremu, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic, Achievers University. Let's put our hands together. The fact that he is coming on his own, please, let's not waste. Yes, give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We really appreciate you, sir. Welcome, and thank you for being so patient with us. I'll be bringing also to the podium another of the panelists. The discussant is Professor Christy Neranzi. She's actually online. Let's put our hands together for her. The third panelist, or the panel member of the panel of discussants, we will have our dear, wonderful Professor Ganiat Adeshina Osman. Let's put our hands together. That's the lady. Yes, put your hands together for her. We have the fourth panel discussant, Professor Abdullah Y. Rabadu. Let's put our hands together for him. Thank you very much. We appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we know that one of us is online, and I'll be throwing some questions, and then we hope that you will do justice. But ladies and gentlemen, I need you to know that as the discussion is going on, you might as well write down a question or any observation you want answered so that we'll do it quickly. We have 5 minutes each for each discussant. Thank you very much. I'll begin with the lady. I think it's just right to do that, isn't it? Let me start with the lady. As they say, ladies first, but I always say after men. They will do us wayo and then push it on us. All right. Okay, let me go straight on. On this topic, I don't know whether we have gotten Professor Christy Neranzi here. Is she online? We have her. Okay, thank you, Professor. All right, let me ask you a question. Professor, by the way, is of the Open Education University of Leeds, United Kingdom. One of the questions I'll be throwing to you or putting out for you to respond to is in terms of innovation. Innovation. So may I ask you this question? What are some examples of innovative approaches to open, flexible, and distance learning that you've seen or have implemented in your work?
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Can you all hear me? Yes? No? Can I have a confirmation that you can hear me?
Yes,
you can hear me. Okay. Thank you so much for, first of all, for this kind invitation. It has been wonderful to be here today with everybody, to see the dancers, to share the love, to see the commitment and passion among colleagues and presenters so far. I would like to start, first of all, with a note that Dr. Kola Adesina said, we need to love each other. So I'm sending my love to you all, first of all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, so innovation. Innovation, well, I would like to frame it maybe as creativity. Creativity and innovation are really important, but the roots in all this lie within curiosity and imagination. So for me, it is about how can we trigger that curiosity? How can we put it on fire, if you like, so that our students and our colleagues, we as educators, are keen to learn, as many of colleagues said already, are keen to learn and keep learning, wanting to learn and wanting to make a difference to our local societies, but our planet as a whole as well. So people are at the heart of it. And one thing that I haven't heard yet is how we can support potentially our colleagues, our educators, our academics, and all colleagues in support roles such as learning technologists, librarians, etc., in doing that work in an innovative way. So it's really important to invest in the people so that they have the time, the space, the freedom, and feel empowered to innovate, to radically change and transform education and the student experience and outputs in a way that will make a difference. And I think what our colleague, let me just find here, because I made loads of notes of what you were saying so far, talked about how important SDG 4 is in relation to all the other SDGs. And I very much agree with this, and it's often forgotten. So linking what I just said, creativity, in order to be creative, we also need to be open. We need to be open to other perspectives. We need to be open to other ideas. We need to be open to the uncomfortable, to feeling discomfort in that state, so that we can make new and novel connections that will lead us to new insights. So it is about designing curricula that reflect that have mirrors and windows, that create potentially mirrors and windows for our students and our educators, so they can see themselves, so they can feel stretched and feel a way represented, not just acknowledged, represented, celebrated, and also empowered to make change happen, to learn, to wanting to learn with others. And others is something that came up quite strongly, I think, in all the contributions so far. The power of human connection. So how can we do that online? How can we do that in a flexible way? How can we do that at a distance? We showed during the pandemic that we can do it. We always find the way. We just need to use the constraints we have in inventive and resourceful ways to bring people together. And while we hear that in 1982, about 40% of us enjoyed being with others, with friends and colleagues. And I think where this was leading is that today we are meeting online and we are more at a distance, and we know that many students and colleagues feel perhaps a greater sense of isolation. We need to break free. We need to find ways where we can come together, where we can celebrate our humanity, where we can celebrate what each and one of us brings, and what we can achieve together, because only through collaboration we can achieve great things. I know the question was about examples. I have loads of examples. I'll share them here in the chat. I can very briefly, if I have a little bit of time, to mention a few from my own practice and how I have worked on how I work with equitable ways with my colleagues and with my students. Last year, we connected in 2024 and created an open JAM, Social Justice Spaces for Change, with the University of Leeds colleagues and students, and colleagues and students from the University of Pretoria and local communities, to look at real and authentic issues that communities locally faced regarding space and bringing communities together. That is one of the examples. Like I said, I will share all the links in the chat, and I hope colleagues who are organizing the event will be further sharing with you. We just finished redesigning. We had Nicole earlier talking about redesigning with students as co-designers. We just did that on the module I'm leading, Education in a Digital Society. And it has been fascinating to learning from students, from their previous experience, but also help them feel empowered that they had something of value to contribute that would be useful for students who will be taking that module. The whole module is based on, we hear project-based learning. We are using problem-based learning. It's another form of collaborative learning based on inquiry. Real problems, real challenges are part of this, and integrated with AI, where they can further contextualize and personalize that experience and the scenarios they will be finding problems with. The focus is on this is in education. I'm in the School of Education. So this is about helping educators of the future to feel empowered, to feel that they have the agency, the knowledge and the skills, and feel connected to their peers, to others locally and globally. So the module has an open dimension. We have created an open book that is also available online, and anybody with can see and reuse and repurpose and translate, we heard, or reappropriate in a local context and adapt. So please feel free to see if that makes sense to you and would be useful. We would also be very delighted to connect with colleagues in Africa and elsewhere if there's an interest to connect our students. People, community, and purpose. Education and higher education is extremely important. We need to remember that big tech seem to be leading innovation at the moment. This is not good and not healthy for education, because our agenda as educators is to create learning opportunities, to create hope for the future, and create a better society. We need to take back control, and instead of what is called open AI, in inverted commas, we need to work on systems where we as higher education practitioners, educators, and researchers take back control and create, if AI is a vehicle, with open principles and values, to create a public AI and public AI systems that can truly transform and make a difference to the wider educational community, so we can all continue learning throughout our life. And first of all, we are learners, like one of the previous speaker said, and we need to acknowledge this. I will stop here for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much. What a good timing for her to end her speech. All right. Okay, we're moving on to the next discussant, and I have her right beside me. By the way, Professor Ganiat is Directorate of Advancement and Linkage, National Open University. Professor, we would have loved you to say so much, but we know you will come straight to the point and answer us this one question, which is very important. How can open, flexible, and distant learning institutions in Nigeria leverage partnership and collaboration to promote innovation and sustainability? Now, two words, keywords from today's colloquium: sustainability and innovation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Moderator. Good afternoon, everyone. The question you asked, I would like to lay some premises before I move on to the how. Okay. Looking at the UNESCO Institute of Statistics data 2023, and also the World Bank data 2023 as well, Nigeria has the highest youth population globally in the world. And that has actually, drive up the capacity gap in Nigeria, especially access to higher education. There's something we call sustainability triangle. I don't know if anybody knows about sustainability triangle for OFDL anyway. This triangle has three variables. The first one is scalability. The second one is affordability. And the third one is quality. If we do not leverage on collaboration, there's no way we can balance the triangle. I did a kind of simulation some time ago using some data, and I found out that the data on scalability triangle in Nigeria is driven by NOUN data and the DLIs that are actually also running OFDL in Nigeria. The first OWL I want to mention is what we call micro-credential model. The micro-credential model fits in perfectly to OFDL institutions. Why? Because it's addressing, capacity gap. It's also addressing youth unemployment as well as a kind of market-driven curricula, because it has to do with the institution and the employers. Employers comes with, we need you to train people in a particular skill, and there's a co-funding by the employer. That is a way to increase accessibility and also affordability. If we are able to drive these two, of course, it's going to continue to scale up, and then quality will be ensured. Okay, moving on, I would like to give an example of this from NOUN. I wouldn't go to this. Maybe later on I'll go into details. But let me also say that industry partnership is another OWL, industry academic partnership. That is really, if you look at the figure in Nigeria, honestly, I think the last time I checked, it was really too low for international standard. So academics, whether in the OFDL, especially in the OFDL, they need to collaborate with industry. What Open University of China is doing, I've been to Chengchi University, China, Open University of China, Chengchi. In Chengchi, they run medical sciences as an OFDL institution. But in Nigeria, we will say, how? No, impossible, impossible. There is collaboration between the industry and the academia. If we did not achieve this, I don't think moving forward we can actually balance the scalability triangle that we talk about. When you look at the data for Nigeria, the scalability I got 80%. 80% because National University of Nigeria has been able to provide access to over 500,000 learners in Nigeria. Our population is actually more than 1.5 million, but when you talk about active students, over 500,000. How do we achieve this? You can't do it all alone. Okay. What Open University of China also did was to collaborate with the like of Alibaba Cloud, the like of Huawei, and with that, we call something CIA. That is confidentiality, integrity, and what? Accessibility. If you can collaborate with Alibaba Cloud, collaborate with Huawei, MTN, there are a lot of ways you can actually come up with digital learning platform that will be student-friendly, student-centered, and that will be more interactive. Another OWL is when you look at PPP, public-private partnership. Okay, under PPP, of course, if you look at the micro-credential, it's a part of PPP anyway. But when you look further into PPP, we'll see a way where we have the like of NUC, the like of NCC, the like of NIDA, the like of TED Fund, all these related organization bodies are coming together to work with OFDL institutions in partnership with private sector. The model we currently run in Nigeria is actually not the best model. When maybe as time permits me, I will say more on that. But PPP is working very well for NOUN, for OUK, even for UNISA. I am very sure of that. And when you look at PPP, by the time you bring in the private sector, there are a lot of things to stand to gain. For example, we're talking about nowadays solar power learning centers. No more failure, no more power failure. NOUN have been able to benefit from such PPP recently across some geopolitical zones in Nigeria, where we have our study centers. So a private person just came in, partner with us, and then deliver on solar powered learning centers. That is to make accessibility, seamless. I'll stop here for now. Thank you.
This is all about collaboration. I know the first discussant mentioned collaboration, and you are talking emphatically about collaboration. That tells us that no one can do it alone. It's all about getting the right kinds of organizations that would help us develop. Okay, let's move on to the next discussant. I have the representative of Professor Abdullah Rabadu, who is our dear Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission. Is being represented by Professor Lingeri Hadu, the Executive Secretary of NUC. Please, sir, my question is to you. Thank you very much for being that patient and waiting. Now you are the one who is the umbrella, as it were, that covers most of these universities. Now here we are facing a new innovation, a new direction that would take education to a new height. The question now is, how can regulatory frameworks support the growth and development of open, flexible, and distant learning in Nigeria? Now, the specific phrase here is future proving. How can it be done? We're looking into the future. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me. Just to correct, I'm not a professor. So my name is Gabriel Haduligari. I'm a doctor. Now, thank you for this question. I'm going to speak from the perspective of the National Universities Commission. How the Commission ensures the growth and development and ensuring that the future of open, flexible, and distance learning is secure. For us in the Commission, as you may know, our core function and part, our mission is to ensure the quality of university education in Nigeria and understanding and seeing the relevance of open OFDL. The Commission has, as far back in 2009, developed a guideline that will ensure the development of open and distance learning, and a directorate was created to achieve that. So one of the ways the Commission promotes this mode of delivery is ensuring that universities that were hitherto not ODL will have the opportunity to adjust their documents or their vision to include flexible and distance learning. Now in Nigeria, we have currently now 31 universities that were initially not known to be distance learning university to adjust their documents, and we call them dual mode universities. So the Commission has made provision whereby universities can combine all forms of delivery, including open, flexible, and distance learning. And for us, future-proofing distance learning is in the quality of the products. And the Commission has laid down guidelines and instruments to ensure that the products of OFDL are not different in terms of quality and competence from the products of brick and mortar institutions. We have guidelines on to ensure that as you're launching into OFDL as an institution, you have what it takes to produce the requisite and qualitative graduates that will be at par. I was happy when the Vice Chancellor was telling us that the certificates offered by DLI are not different from the conventional students. That is the way to go. The Commission encourages that. But for you to achieve that, is that the product should be able to compete and also succeed without discrimination. And how do you achieve that? When your skill and your competence is measurable, when it's at par, when you demonstrate that despite the fact that you've studied via the OFDL mode, you can deliver as the one that's schooled in a typical and normal classroom. So for us in the Commission, we are putting measures to ensure that this is achieved. We have ensured that the model that is practicable for us in Nigeria, and this model came out after several consultations with development partners, international organizations, and we came up with the ICT-enabled supported blended learning. We believe that for us, it has to be blended, if not because of integrity, because of perception, because of our limitation, our infrastructural and economics context will not permit us to do solely online. So blended is the approach. And we place premium on the quality and the, of course, material in several formats, including prints, talking about inclusivity now. And we have all agreed that some people will be in remote areas, they may not have access to bandwidth or data or the gadgets or power to even enable the gadgets to work effectively. So for us, the commission, part of the course materials must be in print, so that someone in the village can carry the print material and go and study it, because he may not have the advantage of infrastructure wherever he is or she is. So future proofing for us involves getting quality products. So we also have some regulatory measures and exercises and monitoring and guidelines. One other way we do it is also building capacity and sensitization. ODL has suffered a lot of discrimination in Nigeria. It has greatly improved and it's improving, and it will be better, I believe. Before now, once you study from this mode, as if your certificate is second rated. But with awareness, with exposure, with the products that are coming out, with capacity building, including training of academics, facilitators, we're able to build capacity that will ensure that OFDL is delivered in a global standard. So these are some of the measures that the Commission has put in place for development, including ensuring that collaborating with partners and facilitating capacity building with foreign institutions like OEUK, like Commonwealth of Learning, University of London. There are several capacity building workshops and exposures that have been developed, and where academics and university administrators were exposed to, that is gradually increasing the awareness and acceptability of OFDL in Nigeria. Another way the Commission does is encouraging the deployment of appropriate technology. Technology in itself does not solve problems except you use it well, even in education. So the philosophy of the Commission is that technology to be deployed for learning must be appropriate, must be relevant, must be adaptable, must be able to achieve the desired results, and then to deliver the desired skill and knowledge that students need. It's not just about having it, it's about using it well, it's about delivering it with efficiency. So I think so that these are some of the measures, these are some of the activities and the initiatives the Commission has taken to ensure that ODFL is the mode of delivery of education for the future, even in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And I think those members of the audience, especially the students, you are getting to understand that you are really, really needed. Also, the Commission is interested in making sure that you are relevant in the society. So it's no longer a thing of holding your certificate and making it look like you never went through school, because indeed you went through school. All right, and last but definitely not the least, I have our dear Professor Oyesoji Aremu. Am I right, sir? Okay. Okay. He is the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic at the Achievers University. Sir, your question here is, I am quite interested in, I saw your pedigree. I was almost asking a question, but let me ask this straight on because I don't want us to take much of the time. What are some strategies for promoting equity and addressing the digital divide in open, flexible, and distant learning in Nigeria? We're still talking about inclusion. What is university doing?
Thank you so much, Madam. Number one, let me say good afternoon to everyone. And let me commend the Selani Institute of the University of Lagos. Thank you for taking a very big cue from the first and the best university in Nigeria, the University of Ibadan.
All right.
Having said that, Madam Moderator, honestly, I must appreciate this. While you talk about the strategies, I would address this talking about what dual mode universities are facing in Nigeria. But that is my background. That's why I have operated in the last 14 years when it comes to administration of open distance learning in Nigeria. We talk about the strategy we can put forward. One, I think we need to readdress the issue of parity of esteem. My brother here talked about that, something our learners will be able to be proud of, and there will not be discrimination. How do we address the issue of parity of esteem? I think universities, dual mode university need to do more in this area by ensuring that the facilitators of the program are better trained, and as much as possible, the issue of having some of our colleagues in the university system who pretend to be ODL experts, but who are not. This is the marketing open distance learning in Nigeria. Number two, I think, I don't know among the lecturers this morning, who talk about the issue of having, okay, I think the director, Madam Director mentioned that the need for NITDA,
follower,
NUC, coming to have a charter on open distance learning in Nigeria. At the level of Open Distance and E-Learning Association, of which I am the National Vice President, we've been addressing that as well. How do we address this in such a way, having a policy and a charter on ODL in Nigeria? If we do not have a charter or public policy, it will be very, very difficult for people and Nigeria to key into this. A few days ago, I listened to the Minister of Education talking about the issue of beach education. People from the diaspora are coming to teach in Nigeria. And I asked myself, why do we have to go through that route? What happens to colleagues in Nigeria? And of course, I know the reason why. Because colleagues in Nigeria are not yet there, in quote, not many of us. I refer to many of such people as BBC, born before computers. And for that very reason, we have that challenge. Another strategy we can probably put forward for us to be able to address this challenge with a view to future-proofing ODL in Nigeria is the question of autonomy. Many ODL institutions in Nigeria have this problem. I'm happy some of our learners are here, and I'm happy that some of our directors from dual mode universities are here. Then when you talk about the autonomy, many distance learning centers in dual mode university are not fully autonomous. I wish the VC is here. We also be addressing this. It's not peculiar to a particular university. We have that challenge in my university in Ibadan. When I was the director, learners pay, and for the money they pay, you use that money to service those on regular mode. It's a challenge. And we can't be having this and say we want to improve the strategy. Then again, the money we realize of which we realize, if we are able to utilize it very well, we'll be able to address the issue of infrastructure. Deficit, infrastructure deficit, internet, electricity, and so on and so forth. Again, another subject I'd like to talk about, I mentioned this to the Deputy Director before we started this morning, and I think the VC mentioned that when we visited her in the morning, talking about the space, virtual space, and I will not talk about the virtual space alone. I will also talk about the physical space. I have been to this university before, DLI, and I could see the development. Fine, congratulations. But beyond this, thank you so much. Beyond this, are we even talking of really doing more? talking about advancing. Madam Director, where you are will not be able to occupy you the next 5-10 years. How are you future-proofing? Then you should move out, getting a place, having a place you can call, so that other than having a public information center in the university, there should be another place somewhere which people can refer to, so that as your students on face-to-face mode are growing, your learners on on demo will also be growing. I think this strategy, if you are able to do it, I can see that you are itching for me to, so let me stop. Thank you so much.
I really wish you could go on and on. That was quite engaging and speaking truth to power, but then we do not have time. And so at this juncture, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that has been on this panel. I really wanted to say big thank you to our dear discussant that is online. About Professor Chrissy Narenzi, Nigeria would say you're one cover to this conversation. Also, we want to say big thank you to Professor Ganiat Adeshino Osman for being here. Dr. Abdullah being represented by another dear Dr. Hadu Ligari. We want to say thank you. And of course, Professor Aremu. Dr. Aremu, we want to say thank you to you for being amazingly making sure that you give us something to take home. And I would never forget that I am a BBC. I am a BBC, born before computers, but I can tell you that I'm already an OFDL. So thank you so very much, members of the discussion panel. Thank you. I'd like to say thank you. Yes, we would have loved. I need to apologize here. There ought to have been questions and answers, but we understand the time is against us. Meanwhile, do not throw your questions away. Please, ushers are around. Please collect those questions. We collect those questions. We will definitely make sure it gets to the right quarter.
Thank you very much. Time is not our friend. We once again apologize. We'll have loved to see these intellectuals, continue with our discussion. But we'll quickly invite once again our chairman of today's occasion, Dr. Kola Adeshino, MFR, fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers, and the Group Managing Director of Sahara Energy Group, for his closing remarks. Please, let's give a round of applause, please.
Thank you.
For someone who is to be here with us this morning, we don't take it for granted, sir.
Okay, great Akokite. Greatest Akokite. Great. It's a privilege one more time to be here, most especially when somebody from Polytechnic of Ibadan, University of Ibadan, came earlier. The today's session, have you had fun? Are you quite sure you really learned something? Excellent. I've learned a lot today. It's always very difficult for me to have this extensive time to spend in a particular place for this period, and it's been very exciting. I'm quite delighted I've chosen this place as my place of choice today. And the point I need to stress here is that life is about choices. Everything we do in life depends on the kind of decisions we take. With regards to where we are today, I love what one of the key note speakers said, Dr. Nicole, regarding decolonizing our curriculum. When she got to that point, I think she got me fully. And why? Primarily because of the fact that before the white men came, we were technologically wired. Africa had significant contribution to human development even before colonialism. Unfortunately, we didn't document it enough. We didn't project all these things we've done well enough. And because of that, with due respect, and I'm really saying this again one more time, with due respect, the way we dress is indicative of the fact that we're still colonized. In a tropical zone, like my brother, Professor Oshonogo, was sweating profusely when he was giving his lecture, and I empathized with him for a moment, but I said no, he chose to wear what he wore. And because for me, knowledge is not really truly projected based on what you wear. As a matter of fact, what you wear is a significant element of your knowledge. We should start to wear Africa. We should start to eat Africa. We should start to produce what we eat. Now, I love what Professor Aremu said earlier in terms of parity of esteem, because I recall with vivid displeasure that when DLI was COSET, it was very difficult for most of the certificate holders of that generation to find jobs. Even where they were employed, it was difficult for those certificates to be used for the purpose of promotion within their companies. But thankfully, today, that trend has changed, and it has changed completely. One of my own recommendations will be that going forward, there should be a deliberate plan by the university, DLI, to look out for products of excellence that graduated from this very beautiful, wonderful institution, and use them to showcase what is possible, and then let's see where we go from there. The best of us, for me, the best of us must represent the rest of us. And the only way that can happen is truly for us to push both cooperation and competition. And that, I mean, that there should be interdependence of knowledge, exchange of knowledge for the purpose of multiplicity of knowledge. And you and I know that multiplication is better than addition. So when people talk about value addition, I talk about value multiplication. Africa has the potential for value multiplication. Regarding AI and automation, blockchain technology, robotics engineering, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and everything that we now use as buzzwords, until we truly democratize them, we're not going to go far. And for you to be able to do that, the infrastructure required to be able to support access to internet, electrification of our institutions and homes and businesses must be primary. For me, I've said timelessly at different fora, the way you allocate your resources tells me what you value. The way you allocate your time tells me what you value. If you put money on things that are temporary and lose out on things that are really, really significant long-term, your nation will not develop. Every day in Nigeria, babies born, 20,900. Every month, 627,000. Every year, 7.524 million people are born in Nigeria. What sort of provision are we making for those who are coming, most especially when those that are here are not being catered for? How can we start to reallocate resources on those primary things that will build Product Nigeria and make it Project Nigeria and make it Global Nigeria? I've had a good time today. Thank you so much. God bless you. The next colloquium, I will definitely be here. And I want to say that we have a School of Innovation we're building here, just thankfully beside the Faculty of Creative Arts. You'll see the School of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. We're equally building a simulation lab because we feel that we must practice what we preach. Thank you.
Chairman, sir, before you go, sir, before you said we should invest in Africa. You have changed, sir. Events when we meet you, you invest in us. The last one you gave me, I think 150K. I can't remember. At a hotel 3 weeks ago, the event we went to, you asked me to sell my account. Since you have not done that today, I want to invest in you.
No, wait. The chairman of today's occasion, is no like. Wait.
Photographers, please take a picture, please. Let it be on record in giving a traditional 2,000 naira. I'm saying a seed. You get it. That's a seed. I'm investing in you.
May the seed germinate. May he not come back behind to ask for this money.
A round of applause for Dr. Colloquium. Lamu, before you invite the next person that would come around, Dr. Kola Adeshino said it nicely and aptly. And I think, like an Oliver Twist, who likes to ask for more, it won't be out of place if we give him another resounding locomotive on ending and a serious round of applause. Lamu, before I hand over to you, in the street language, the part that burst my brain was those statistics that you had at the tip of your fingers.
Absolutely.
I know. It can only come from highly cerebral people. Thank you once again. Over to you, Lamu.
Thank you so much. It's been a great day, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for me to now invite for the vote of thanks the Deputy Director, Dr. Abosede Ebayi. Let's put our hands together for the Deputy Director, Dr. Abosede, for the vote of thanks, please. Thank you.
Put academic planning there so that your balance can be complete.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, the university community. You all agree with me that today has been a beautiful day, a very beautiful day. So on behalf of the board, the management, the students, the staff of the Distance Learning Institute, University of Lagos, I would like to appreciate and especially thank every one of you, everybody from our Vice Chancellor, Professor Folashade Ogunshola, OON, FAS, for giving us yet another privilege, for all the support that we have been getting from her, and the management staff of the University of Lagos. We thank you specially. We thank our guest speakers this day, our guest speaker for the pre-colloquium workshop, Professor Ogunbodede, former Vice Chancellor of Afemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. We thank our speakers, Dr. Nicole, thank you, Dr. Chonogo, thank you. Our panelists, Professor Aremu, thank you, sir. Professor Adeshino Usman, thank you, ma. The ES, National Universities Commission, ably represented by Dr. Ligari Haudu, thank you very much. Professor Chrissy Narezi, thank you. To every principal, former principal officers of this University of Lagos, thank you, sirs and ma. To the board of the Distance Learning Institute, thank you, sirs and ma. To all professors in the University of Lagos, deans, directors of institutes, HODs, we appreciate you all. To all our guests who came in from far and near to be part of this occasion, we thank you. I don't want to forget the chairman of today's occasion. Thank you very much, sir, for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be with us throughout the day. Thank you. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you to the media team. You have done us well. Thank you to the technical crew. Thank you, University of Lagos community, members of the Open Distance E-Learning Association of Nigeria, those of us online and those of us here present, we appreciate you. We appreciate every academic staff and non-teaching staff of the University of Lagos. Thank you to all the friends and supporters of the Distance Learning Institute, University of Lagos. And I'm not leaving out the students. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Members of the organizing committee, I cannot leave you out. You have done a good job. Thank you. Please take your bows wherever you may be. God bless us all. We meet at the luncheon. We still have a luncheon this afternoon. We meet there to continue this discussion. It will not end here, it will continue. And I know that it has opened channels for more discussion concerning open, flexible distance learning in Nigeria. God bless the University of Lagos. God bless our country, Nigeria. Thank you.
Lamu, well, you did not thank the MC. Thank the MC.
No, it's one of those things. We're into it. That I also want to appreciate. You know, one of the toughest job is why you are thanking people. You might leave out some people. I will never forget the entire crew of the communication unit of University of Lagos. They are the ones who positively project whatever we are doing. Have been the ones projecting this event.
Absolutely.
Communication unit, please ways. Mr. Dosumu, every one of you will celebrate you. I will not forget also the longest office in this University of Lagos, Adetokunbo Babatunde Shofolue, Center for Information Technology.
CITS.
We appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
ladies and gentlemen, shall we rise for the closing prayers, please? We will take, please, at this point, you're not expected to leave the hall. Once we're done with the anthems, please kindly allow our guest leave before you begin to leave, please. Multimedia, can we have the third stanza of the national anthem for closing prayers, please?
O God of all creation, these are requests. Help to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace Nigeria may be blessed. Now we take the best national anthem anywhere in the world, the Unilag of Lagos anthem, and then the national anthem will follow suit.
Thank you.
Great Akokai! Great Akokai! Great Akokai! The national anthem. Thank you so much. Lamo, before we go, sharing that we feel into what Dr. Kola Adesina said, Queen Sachs, Esther Edwards, a year one student of business administration, very good at her crafts, will be taking us through the saxophone. I leave the stage for Queen Sachs. And thank you, Favor, for your biscuit. I appreciate you. Queen Sachs, over to you. Ayoloyede, you are celebrated. I see you. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Have a good day. Over to you, Queen Sachs. Queen.